This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 1050 of Horse Tip Daily. A different horse tip, a different equine topic, a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you, one day at a time. Greetings, horse people. Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily. Today's tip is an excerpt from the Horsemanship Radio Show. Chris Morris joins show host Debbie Laux with some advice on keeping your body cues clear and consistent. And we'll get right to our tip after this important message from Bimeda Equine.
We all know the importance of deworming our horses, and Dr. Ellefson of Bimeda Equine is helping us make sure we are doing it right. Listen for his 4-part series the first week of every month on this very show. I just wanted to remind everyone, if you are due for deworming, why not save a few bucks on the popular Bimeda line of wormers, including Equimax, Bimectin, Exodus, Exodus Multidose, and Equil. You can find coupons and special offers at BimedaEquine.com, including a variety of rebate offers from cash to free ivermectin. You can also get up to $2 a dose back for Equimax. And while you're at Bimeda Equine, get your free horse health record keeper, and you can just download it there. Plus, learn a bunch about parasites and deworming at Bimeda, that's Bimeda, equine.com. We at the Horse Radio Network all use Bimeda dewormers because we want the best for our horses, and we know you want the best for yours too. BimedaEquine.com, and tell them the Horse Radio Network sent you.
Right. So I'm reminded of a uni lesson at Equus Online University. That's actually one of our sponsors here. But there is a series of lessons that you have in there called the dually dance, which is referring to the halter. And you talk about that very issue about if you step into the horse as if you're going toward him in order to back him up, but then on another time you step into him because you're just going to go brush them or something. Yeah. If you do it in the same manner, it's a confusing message. Talk to me a little bit about how you keep that clarity.
Well, I mean, you hear, I often talk to my students and my clients about rules and consistencies and boundaries, and you come out with a sentence like that, and people think it's going to be boring and all the rest of it. But it's the most fundamental thing you can teach your horse, and be absolutely clear and consistent with what you are training and teaching them, and it's your job to make sure they understand what you want. So you mentioned the example of when you step into your horse to back him up. A lot of people will make the same movement when they're approaching their horse with a saddle, or going in, like you say, with to brush them, and the horse takes the 2 or 3 steps backwards. And it doesn't know that in that situation, it's easier for us for him to stand still because we want to get a saddle on, we want to brush him. But your body is making the same movement. You just spent 5-10 minutes telling that horse, when I step into you this way, the correct movement is for you to back away from me. So don't be surprised if when you decide to pick up a saddle and you make that same movement. As far as the horse is concerned, your body is asking him the same thing. So don't be surprised if he takes those 2 or 3 steps backwards. And it's not the horse's fault if you think that's the mistake. It's up to you to figure out, hey, what am I doing with my body to get these steps backwards? Oh, I've just taught him, square shoulders, walking into his space means step backwards. So it's only a slight change from you. Turn yourself sideways and kind of almost sidestep into him, and he will stand still, because it's a different cue from your body.
I see. So you turned your body, not shoulder square, you've turned at a 45, even a 90 even.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of horses, very, very sensitive horses, you don't have to make a big dramatic, sidestep into them, but a lot of horses, very nervous horses, you have to be really... If you've taught them that your shoulders square to them is, hey, get out of my space, I'm owning this space, I'd like you to step backwards. The opposite of that is you've somehow got to find a way of presenting a softer side of your body that doesn't get them to move backwards. So I'm, a fairly big guy who's got quite broad shoulders, so I have to make, with a lot of horses, a very dramatic turn and almost, 90 degrees and sidestep into them to make it my softest side possible. I don't want you in this instant to take those steps backwards.
Yeah, that's a great tip. So and it also tells me that's probably the tip of the iceberg, in that there's a lot of things that we probably do with our body that we need to become more aware of, which is great.
I mean, the other example that I can think of is that I see a lot over here are, problems with loading horses onto trailers. And you see people standing at the top of the trailer ramp or the lorry ramp, and their body is square onto their horse, and they're usually pulling the horse forward, get in this trailer. But what are you presenting with your body? You're presenting quite an upright, not an aggressive, but a very upright, broad frame of your body, and your horse is going to stop. So you kind of teach your horse to the correct move when I pull you is to stop with just 2 front feet on the ramp and don't move, because your body is saying don't move. You might be pulling them, but that's when you get into the problem of the horse, well, if you don't want me forward, I'll try backwards. And very quickly you can inadvertently teach your horse to, shoot backwards out of down the ramp, and at the same time you may let go of the rope, so you release the pressure on the rope, and we all know about the release of pressure being a reward.
It's a reward, yeah.
So you just taught your horse. The correct move is 2 front feet on the ramp. I'm going to keep the pressure, so the horse goes, my next move is I'll just scoot backwards down the ramp very quickly. So
and following... go ahead.
So you can very quickly teach your horses the wrong thing to do.
So following your logic, then, I'm thinking now we need to go soft with those shoulders or at an angle, or averting the eyes so that we're not looking...
Yeah, not looking directly in their eyes. And I tend to, when I'm loading horses, you need to, obviously, you're not going to turn your back on them. People, because I say go softer, people take their eyes off of them.
Yeah.
I tend to look down at their knees, or, the chest muscles in particular, because even if your job is to reward the slightest movement, and all you're asking them to do is move their feet forward. So even just the slightest thought of, I'm going to move my feet, so the slightest twitch of that chest muscle, to give you the clue of, I'm thinking about moving my leg, and you can kind of reward that. That's once you get that connection of, yes, I want you to move forward, I want you to think about moving your leg, and very quickly you will get to the lift of the leg forward, and you can do a big reward for that. So you're trying to teach the horse the correct move is forward. So you have to think about, eyes down, nice and soft, but you're always watching them to kind of pick your point, that you're giving them the release of pressure, slight release of pressure, to give them that reward, and it makes your life a lot easier.
It is a hell of a lot easier. That's true. That's true. And they are that sensitive, aren't they?
They are, definitely.
Well, there you go. You can find links to today's guests, as well as more tips on topics ranging from barn care to websites for horse people at horsetipdaily.com. And don't forget, you can have all of your favorite Horse Radio Network shows with you wherever you go with the free Horse Radio Network app for iPhone or Android. Go to your app store and search Horse Radio Network. Download it today. It's quick, it's free, and it's easy. This podcast was made possible through the generous support of Bimeda Equine and listeners like you. Learn how you can help support Horse Radio Network programming and qualify for auditors-only perks by going to horsetipdaily.com and clicking on the Become an Auditor banner in the center of the page. The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements of guests or their opinions. Use your own judgment when listening to the tips provided by the experts on Horse Tip Daily.